Hello there, I'm Rachel and I welcome you all to Executive Corner, Expert Talks. Today I'm speaking with Mr. Brian Ruddle, Managing Director of the Impact Innovation Group. Welcome Brian, how are you today?
I'm going very well, Rachel, how are you?
Good, thank you. Here at 𝐊𝐴𝐚𝐥, we bring you industry leaders, successful business owners, market and equity advocates all under one roof to help you discover the insights of the stock market and help you understand how one can create multiple passive income streams. In today's show, we'll be speaking with Mr. Brian Ruddle. So straight into the first question then, could you please, just for our viewers who may not have heard of your company, talk us through everything that Impact Innovation does?
Yep, sure. So we've been going for a bit over 15 years now. We've got 3 business units. We have an innovation systems business unit, a commercialization business unit, and then a capacity building or training business unit. So the innovation business unit is all about innovation systems within large corporates, multinationals, government agencies and research organisations, putting in place the systems and processes to drive the development of new products and services, as well as improving internal systems and processes and business models. Commercialisation is very much focused on research organisations. We do a lot of work with CSIRO and a lot of the universities across Australia, working up how to actually turn research outcomes, again, into new products and services. And of course, our capacity building or training division is very much focused on developing the skills that are actually required to identify opportunities and turn them into something that adds value to businesses.
Excellent. And just to elaborate on that somewhat, how do your products and services help in commercialising ideas faster and lower clients' risk and cost?
Yeah, sure. So we've got a number of different products that we use. To give an example of a couple, one is Bright Idea. So we're the premier partner for Asia Pacific for Bright Idea in the US. That's an idea or an innovation management platform. It's used by organisations like Cisco and GE and HP. Here in Australia, it's used by Wesfarmers and IAG, Stockland Group, South Australia Health, South Australia Water, and Surf Life Saving as well from a not-for-profit perspective. So it's a platform that helps organisations actually identify challenges, but more importantly, to find ideas from staff members, from external sources as well, and to take them through a validation process to, again, turn them into a product or service that drives more value for the business. That's one example. We've got a number of other products as well around commercialisation. For example, we've got a commercialisation navigator, which is used within research organisations, which again steps out the systems and processes and the things you need to do to turn a research outcome and navigate, if you like, the complexity around turning a concept into something that consumers will use or businesses will use in the future.
And we understand that you are also involved in the new ISO Innovation Management Standards. Could you explain in more detail what they are and how will they help innovation managers?
Yeah, look, these are really interesting. They're standards like any standard around. They've been developed for about the last 5 to 6 years. There's 5 that have been published. There are another 5 that are in development. And so I'm chair of the Australian committee that is working on writing these standards and approving these standards for Australia. And what it's going to do is actually start to shift the way that innovation is perceived within organisations, in that it's going to be like any other system, if you like, that any organisation puts into place. So what it really focuses on is moving away from what I call the rah-rah side of innovation, the fun side of innovation, into more of a business process that looks at return on investment, that looks at longevity of products and services within businesses.
I'll just move on to carry on with the interview and ask you if you could share some of the names of some of your big clients. Who would come to you to use Impact Innovation?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of common names, BHP, Rio Tinto. We've done work on their innovation systems. CSIRO, I mentioned earlier. We work with groups that I suppose that they're sort of looking at how do they improve, move away from innovation being a word that keeps getting thrown around to a system or process that drives a great outcome. So, Stockland Group, Integria, government agencies like South Australia Health. We work a lot with emergency services in Victoria and also in Western Australia in terms of service improvement. So that's a few examples. Overseas, NCS up in Singapore, we've just finished a big job with them. And then we're also working with other research organisations. University of Queensland, we're doing some work with them in Sri Lanka at the moment. So it's varied, and it's across a range of different countries as well.
Excellent, thank you. And from your expertise, where do you see Australia's innovation management sector moving in a few years from now?
Yeah, it's going to start to become more professional. So what I mean by that, it's particularly with the ISO standards coming through, it's going to become more of a thing within organisations, but also a recognition that if it doesn't generate a return on investment, well, then companies and boards shouldn't be investing in innovation. So it's going to become a lot more focused, and this is what we're seeing overseas in particular, that innovation managers, innovation teams are integral to implementing strategy of organisations, but they're also integral in sort of developing that or generating that return on investment. Because if they don't, again, why change the business through innovation? So that's the key change that we see coming through at the moment.
And just finally then, Brian, do you have any other comments that you'd like to add for our viewers today?
No, I suppose, look, the key thing that we're seeing with a lot of the larger corporates in Australia is that they're starting to grasp innovation and how to sort of move away from little startup incubators and hackathons, or even though they're important parts of it all, to sort of looking at this more as a system or a process. So we're seeing some shifts at the moment which are really interesting, and we're seeing organisations getting a lot of value out of innovation now. And we sort of see it expanding and growing over the years.
Well, that's been a fabulous show, Brian. Thank you so much for chatting with us today.
No.
With that, I will sign off. Watch this space for more. Till then, stay apprised and invest wise with 𝐊𝐴𝐼𝐴.